On January 24, 2026, China arrested Zhang Youxia, Xi Jinping's childhood friend and vice chairman of the military. Here's what matters. In Chinese politics, childhood friend means something totally different than the West. Zhang's father and Xi's father fought together in the revolution. Think JFK arresting Robert Kennedy and the chairman of the Joint Chiefs at the same time. That's the betrayal level. 8 days later, the military still hasn't issued loyalty pledges to Xi. In China, when someone gets purged, military units flood state media within 24 hours. Every US military base would immediately release, "We support the president 100%. That's mandatory. It's how the system shows unity. Except this time, nothing. Complete silence. That silence signals Xi is losing face, public respect, and authority. In the middle of that silence, Chinese social media filled up with war movie clips. On January 30th and 31st, people filmed armored convoys racing down highways, tanks repainted with police markings pushing through city streets, and troop buses in Anhui, Henan, and Shandong. Residents reported hearing jet engines and sustained gunfire near the 80th Group Army base. Soldiers marching on foot, commenters described as overwhelming. Authorities deleted posts from Douyin, but new uploads kept appearing, suggesting something serious was happening behind the official silence. System structure, the collapse. The Central Military Commission is China's military brain. Chairman, just Xi, deputies, vice chairman and members, and operational units, military regions. The US president has the Pentagon with Joint Chiefs of Staff, multiple service heads who can push back. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs can walk into the Oval Office and say, "This won't work." Xi runs the military alone. No Joint Chiefs, no pushback. Imagine if the US president fired everyone and ran the military with yes men. That's what we're looking at. Back in October 2022, the CMC had 7 members. January 2026, 2. He Weidong purged, Li Shangfu purged in 2024, Miao Hua purged in 2024, Liu and Zhang investigated in January. Multiple sources say the 7-member CMC has effectively collapsed. Only Xi Jinping and disciplinary chief Zhang Xianming remain. No professional field commanders at all, which is unprecedented in PRC history. In 16 months, 70% of experienced leadership is gone. That's a resilience failure. The system loses backup plans and diversity of judgment. For context, Hu Jintao, 2004-2012, purged 0 generals. Xi purged 1428 in less than 3 years. Anything over 18% removal in 36 months causes exponential collapse. Why it fractured, the deadlock. CIA Director William Burns confirmed Xi ordered the military ready for Taiwan operations by 2027. That's a readiness deadline, not invasion. Why 2027? It's the PLA's 100th anniversary, and when Xi locks in his 4th term. In America, military planning is about capability. In China, symbolic dates matter as much as readiness. It's theater, and theater matters. The anniversary is Xi's chance to say, "I've built a military capable of reunifying China." But in November 2025, Zhang publicly stated realistic capability comes before 2035, not 2027. Public contradiction of Xi's deadline. Compared to the US, if the president demands something impossible, the Joint Chiefs can push back, say we don't have the capability. There's a mechanism for professional disagreement without losing your job. In Xi's China, that mechanism is gone. If Xi says be ready by 2027, there's no way for a general to say that's not realistic without arrest. That's what happened to Zhang. January 2026 launched the final training cycle before 2027. When Xi reviewed Zhang's plan, it clearly didn't meet 2027 goals. This shifted from disagreement on timelines to execution-level defiance. Zhang went from valuable to disposable. Almost simultaneously, rumors exploded about He Weidong, the other former vice chairman and third-ranking military official. A commentator on X claimed he had died in custody and all his guards were arrested. A dissident sources said he was interrogated at Beijing's 301 hospital when he suddenly died, with tests allegedly showing lethal toxins and signs of foul play. This can't be independently verified, but the fact these stories spread widely and people find them believable reveals how much fear exists in China's officer corps. Another Xi ally, General He Hongjun, executive deputy head of the CMC's political department, was reported dead abnormally during Military Disciplinary Committee detention in May 2025. He was promoted to general by Xi in 2023, yet wasn't safe. These cases convinced many inside the system that high-ranking officers can vanish anytime under anti-corruption cover, deepening the sense that no one is protected. After every other CMC purge, military units issued loyalty pledges within 24 hours. 8 days, nothing. There are unverified reports suggesting CMC orders now encounter grassroots resistance. Insiders told overseas media that after Zhang and Liu were investigated, many directives met open or passive resistance. They described channels for transmitting orders as collapsed. Instructions go out, no one answers, discontent spreads downward. When middle management stops executing orders and performing loyalty rituals, that's system-level failure. Historical warnings, the precedent. In 1971, Mao purged his successor Lin Biao, the vice chairman of the military, basically the number 2 guy in the entire country. Western comparison. Imagine Richard Nixon purging his vice president and the chairman of the Joint Chiefs simultaneously, then those guys fleeing in a plane that crashes. After Lin died, Mao purged thousands of officers. The military command structure collapsed. Critical difference. Mao had fought in the revolution. Generals respected his military judgment because he had battlefield credibility. When he rebuilt the system, trusted commanders could do it because they believed in Mao. Xi has 0 combat experience and 0 revolutionary credentials. He's never commanded troops. He relies entirely on fear and institutional control, and both are breaking down now. Recovery is far harder without that military credibility. The Cultural Revolution 1966 to 1976 was McCarthyism multiplied by 100. Mao turned the country against itself. Families betraying families, soldiers fighting soldiers. The pattern was paranoia, then purges, then institutional breakdown. Xi's military purges are following that exact same sequence right now. Older officers who remember that era recognize the pattern. That institutional memory makes today's silence even more ominous. 3 paths forward, scenarios. Scenario A, consolidation, 60% rising. Xi doubles down. He promotes young loyalists selected for obedience, not competence. Within 2 years, the entire CMC is packed with Xi appointees with no deep military experience and entirely dependent on him. On the surface, command gets restored. Orders get executed without question. But these new commanders will accelerate rush drills to prove they're meeting Xi's 2027 demands. This creates accident and miscalculation risk. The real danger comes later when these loyalists face actual crisis and simply lack expertise to manage it. Scenario B, compromise 25% falling. Pressure forces Xi toward compromise. Release Zhang, restore partial collective leadership, postpone Taiwan operations beyond 2027. But the 8-day silence makes this unlikely. If real compromise talks were happening, you'd see reconciliation signals from the military. Instead, stalemate. Scenario C, collapse, 15% rising. Military breaks down further, regions become autonomous, nobody listens to central command. Could be military intervention in politics, could be regime instability. That's the unpredictable scenario. Why this matters to you? About 90% of advanced semiconductors come from Taiwan. Your iPhone, car, laptop all depend on chips flowing through that corridor. If China's military becomes unpredictable because loyalists run it instead of professionals, Taiwan miscalculation risk spikes. That conflict shuts down the global tech supply chain. The Pentagon plans based on what it thinks the PLA can do. If commanders lie to Xi about readiness and he moves on bad intel, U.S. planners assume wider scenarios. That means more defense spending, more taxes. One U.S. scholar, Miles Yu at the Naval Academy, explains why this happens. These purges aren't about corruption, they're about survival. Dictators ensure guns never turn inward. Absolute loyalty can never be proven, so paranoia breeds purge after purge. Today's loyal general becomes tomorrow's traitor. That's how centralized communist rule works, from Stalin to Mao to Xi. If you want to actually understand what's happening in China, not propaganda, subscribe and hit the notification bell.